Going on, guys? So in today's video, what I want to do is show you the most simple way to run Instagram ads to your Instagram account. Now, what I'm going to go through the audiences, type of content you need to use, the targeting, and ultimately simplify this so that you're not scrambling when you're running follower ads to your Instagram account. Now, over the last 4 years, I've run multiple ads to multiple accounts with follower growth, and I've had a lot of success with this. And what I'm going to do is talk you through the exact structure that I use on a continuous basis with coaches, local businesses, and service-based businesses. Now, for this particular walkthrough, this is for a more broader scale. So I would say coaches and people that have personal brands that are trying to reach more people. So what I'll do is typically, if you have ran ads in the past, you will know that you're going to run this through Meta Business Suite. Okay, so within Meta Business Suite, you'll have Ads Manager, and this is not for people that are boosting. So what we want to go through, the first objective is we want to run a traffic campaign. Okay, and that traffic campaign is to drive Instagram profile visits, right? So we select the objective of Instagram and Facebook. We want to send traffic to your Instagram and Facebook. Okay. Now, when it comes to audiences, what a lot of people do is they test multiple audiences. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 3 audiences that you need to use, and that is it. Okay. If the content is good, these audiences will work and it will bring in the right people. So, what we've got for this particular account, what we're targeting females that are within the Asian community. So what we want to get out of this is we want people that have money, people that are of a certain intellect, and people that are ready to invest in their health and fitness, right? For this particular brand. So we want to target people that are between the ages of 26 to 45 because we know anyone under 25, their financial capacities are weaker. We want people that have jobs, people that can invest, and people that are starting to go higher up in their career. So how do we do that? Well, first things first, what we want to do for the first audience is we want an interest and then we want employment stacks. Why do we want that? We want employment stacks so that people that we target are within the position that they're employed, they have money to invest. We can also work with a demographic of people that have the problems that we're trying to solve. Okay. So you go with an interest and you go with a demographic. Now, for this particular client, we're trying to target the Asian community. So the interest is Indian food and cuisine, and then India as an interest, right? That's going to try and target Indian people. But what we want to make sure is that they have jobs. So we have the following. We have job demographics. Okay. Now, this is your first audience that you're going to target. Now, I'll use another example. If you were a golfing coach and you wanted to target people to help them with their golfing skills, you would target things like PGA Tour, Tiger Woods, and golfing interests. And then you would also match that with job interests. Again, if you're trying to target people that like dogs, maybe you have a dog walking business, you would target dog interests and people with jobs. Okay. Now you can target people without jobs. The downside is you'll get a lot more people that don't have the financial capacity. So that's your first audience, okay? An interest and a demographic. Okay, interest two is your lookalike Instagram engagers. Now, your Instagram engagers are people that comment, like, and post on your stuff. Okay, so they're the warmest types of people that you're speaking to within your Instagram account. So what you want to do with that, you're going to create a custom audience and you're going to run a lookalike to people that are similar to your engagers, right? We don't want to do a lookalike to followers because followers is quite broad. We want to do a lookalike to your engagers. So that's audience two. Audience three is a customer list. And a customer list is all of the clients you've worked with in an Excel document. We convert that into a CVS. We put that into a custom audience and we ask Meta to find people similar to our customers. How do they do that? They'll assign the email addresses that you provide, match them with their Facebook and Instagram accounts, and they will find people that have similar behaviors on the platform. Very, very straightforward. Now, how that looks from a campaign setup is you have your 3 audiences, and then you have 3 videos per audience. So these 3 videos will be in this ad set, this ad set, and this ad set. Okay. And what we're going to do, we measure the success of that ad set after 48 to 72 hours. Okay. Now, in terms of the content, what we want to look at, we want to be very, very specific with our content. Now, I'm going to go through 3 pieces of content that works really well, 3 pieces of content that you shouldn't do. It works well, but it brings in the wrong people. So we'll run through that. So the 3 pieces of content that you need to focus on are case studies, proof of concept, and personal stories. Now, case studies can be client testimonial wins, emotional challenges, and breakthroughs. Proof of concept is showing that you have been in the client's shoes and you can prove in your reel or video that you've achieved their desired outcome. So you can tell your story of how you've got to where you are and how you've achieved it. That makes you relatable and it makes you vulnerable so the client can see that you have been in their shoes. That will create an emotional connection. The next one is a personal story. So you want to explain your story on how you became the person you are today and how that's relevant to your ideal client, right? Like a personal story, obviously you talk about yourself and your story, but it eventually will push them to the product or the service. But your story is what's going to link them to the product and service. Okay. When you think about brands like Nike, Adidas, they have certain players they use that kids and adults relate to push them to their brand. They don't just put Nike out there. They will use certain people that people have an emotional connection to get them to buy into the brand. The same applies with your brand. Do something that's going to drive a demographic of people to connect with you, and that is a byproduct of your brand. Now, the things that you shouldn't be putting out on an Instagram ad, it will drive followers, but generally 9 times out of 10, it's the wrong type. Training tips, you're competing with everyone else. So if you imagine it's quite a competitive market, everyone else is going to be doing this. So your content will not stand out. The next one is meme content. At the end of the day, you're a professional business. You're not a circus. You will drive people in with meme content, but they're only coming there to laugh at your page. So that's the wrong type of person. And then day in the life. Now, most people don't actually care what you're doing in your day, right? What coffee you're buying, going for walks. Like that's not going to drive the right people in. What it might do, it will drive curious people in who are bored, but it's not going to buy buyers in. That sort of content, these variations of content can be used on your organic stuff, but I would not put money behind it for an ad. So that's that, right? How does that look when we use that framework of content? This is what it looks like. Now, specifically for this brand slash personal brand, they're very niche. All right. So with a niche brand, it is easier to acquire followers for a much cheaper price. If you're very broad, you're going to be speaking to everyone. So the more niche you are with your messaging and who you're trying to talk to, the better. So that's the outcome over 11 days, 220% increase in followers, and obviously lots and lots more conversations, high quality followers, and ultimately helping that person with their business, right? That's what it looks like. Very, very, very simple flow. So we have 3 ad sets. Ad set one's a detailed audience with employment. Ad set two is your IG profile engagers as a lookalike. Ad set three is your customer list as a lookalike. And how that looks from a campaign structure is we have 3 videos that are case studies, proof of concept, and personal stories. And 9 times out of 10, if the account is good and high quality, if the content is good and it speaks the language to the audience, this is the outcome. Guys, hopefully that helps. If you enjoyed this video, drop my page a follow, subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon.